Good morning, fellow instructors of GED 6072, the Philosophy of Education. My name is Ray Posey, and I am the keeper of the course of the full-time faculty. In other words, I oversee the course, and I also am the creator of the online version of this course. I was hired to create that so it would mimic the face-to-face course so that we would all have sort of a similar our students would all have a similar experience, no matter whether they were in the face-to-face course or on the online course. The way that I constructed it, I believe, is a different sort of way to look at philosophy, and I think it's different from what's been done in the past. So it may be calling upon you to change the way you think about this course. And I know there's been some confusion, and I wanted to make a video for you so that we would be all on the same page. Please remember that if you have any questions, you can always call me or email me at rayposey@pointloma.edu, because my job with this is to help you understand all of this and teach the course in a way that we would be fairly similar to each other in the way we approach it. So I'm going to first go over the syllabus a little bit. The way I've taught this course in the past, I've taught it for a long time, is that I would present a variety of philosophies, and then I would ask students which one they resonated with most. So we would just each week work our way through philosophies and study the people behind them, the philosophers behind them. And it just concerned me that it wasn't really resonating with the students. You know, they learned a bunch of terms and they learned a few facts about each philosophy, but it wasn't really touching them. So I got this idea that we could teach this class by sort of flipping it around. And actually, maybe I should start with the modules in Canvas. So first, there's an introduction to philosophy, to the class, and then and this is from the online version. So some of these things will not be in your face-to-face class if you teach it that way. But what I wanted to do is have students build a portfolio of some sort, and you'll see in the syllabus that you can build that portfolio through a scrapbook. You could have them do a major paper that incorporates all the aspects of the portfolio, or you could do it online and have them do a website. And that's what I've chosen to do. If you're teaching the online version, the way this is set up is for building a website. So it may not be what you want them to do, but we all have to do the online class the same way. So the first thing they start off doing is building the structure of the website. And when you click on here, it has step-by-step instructions with pictures of exactly how to build this scrapbook. I think if you go through it and do it yourself, you'll be shocked at how easy it is to build a website. It takes a little time at first, but it's not difficult. So they first do this introduction kind of thing, getting to know each other. On the online version, I have them have a partner that they're going to keep this partner throughout the whole experience while they're in this course. I don't change partners because it's just, in 8 weeks, it's too confusing and they have a hard time of getting a hold of each other. So there's partners. And the way you do partnerships, just in case you don't know, is you go under the word people, and that lists the people in your course. You go to the word groups, and you can make partnerships, and like I have here, and that's how they also find their partner. And the online course has to be interactive between students, collaborative. And so I had to find a way to do that, to make collaboration happen, but not make it difficult. And I found by doing partnerships was the best way to accomplish that. So just to get them comfortable with the website and how things go on it, the first module is just all about me. It's a sort of autobiographical page. It starts with the instructions of what needs to go into it, that what will be on the page, step by step, what they need to put on it in order to show all about them. And then it proceeds to have them do the pieces that are described in that instructional page, like what's supposed to be on the word cloud, what kind of quotes are you supposed to find, what kind of music and art. And the reason I did that is because I didn't want all their grade based on this one website up here for the week. By doing these pieces and turning them in separately, even though they're going on the website page, the web page, I'm sorry, they also get basically double credit for it. So if they don't do it quite right on the web page, they would have gotten credit for it down here below, and it won't ruin their grade. And then they submit that, and that's sort of how each week works. So the first week is about metaphysics, epistemology, and axiology, which I renamed for them reality, knowledge, and values. And again, then there's an overview, and then they begin this partner reading. And typically the way the partner reading works is one person reads one portion, another person reads a second portion, then they do something with that. There's the partnerships, and they explain it back to each other. So they can get together anytime they want during the week, and they can go through whatever I've asked them to do. Most of the time, they need to create something. I would create one piece of it, my partner would create another piece, and then we would share it together. Just so there's interaction over the reading. A lot of people in the online courses do this by discussion boards. I found that just not to be as rich as by having students do it with a partner. They have to focus more on the partnership. So then again, there's these activities that they need to do that go up on the website again, because there's instructions for the website here. They submit the website here, and they have some pieces that they add to it. So the grade, again, won't be suffering by just being one thing turned in. Now, the piece that I wanted to talk to you about is we've established sort of a framework for philosophy. Why is it important? What are those main key terms about reality, knowledge, and values? And how do they impact us as teachers? But now we're going to start going to people's viewpoints of philosophical issues. The first one's pretty simple. It's called The Perfect World. And what the students do is they write an answer to what would they believe makes the perfect world. If they write that in terms of more of a spiritual outlook, like everyone comes to faith, or there's love for all humanity, there's God is involved in our world, peace, harmony, that kind of thing. More of spiritual kinds of answers or writings, words show up in their writing, then I identify them as coming out of an idealist viewpoint. If they write about things like all people having enough money to live off of, feeding homeless, feeding people throughout the world, no racism, that kind of thing, then they would come out of a realist point of view. I'm sending you, along with all of this, a list of the kind of key words that would separate them from idealism and realism. The reason they're doing that in this module that's about reality, knowledge, and values is because the next module is going to be about the perfect world. And the reading that they're going to do there is going to be idealism or realism. And that's how they're going to split into groups. So I have to get the week prior, I have to get something from them so I can put them into the group that best reflects what they believe about that philosophy. I hope that makes sense to you. It's really not that tough, because each time I'm going to give you key phrases that will help you separate people into groups. But you're doing it based on what they already think they believe. Then when they read about the philosophy, what they're doing is deciding, is that really me or not? So if you notice, within the Perfect World one, the module for Perfect World, they are stopping for a minute and writing about how do people learn? How do they believe the best way people learn? And that, again, based on what they write, will separate them into pretty much 3 philosophies. That's what I found in my experience. So it'll separate you into essentialism, progressivism, or constructivism. And so that's what they end up reading about when we get to that module. That's what they study, the philosophy they study. So then we go back into idealism and realism. They finish those activities. They upload them to their website, their portfolio, if you will. And then we come into how do people learn. In the middle of how do people learn, here's another writing exercise on your thoughts about students who experience trauma in their lives. Because the next module is going to be about philosophies that have to do with people who have experienced trauma, which ends up basically humanism is what we would study that next week, because pretty much everybody falls into that based on their writing. So then we go on through creating this page on how people learn. We come to the trauma page. Students look at trauma and what the philosophies would have to do with that. They look at other things about trauma. They make their website and they upload it. And then the last module is just sort of final guiding principles for their life. That's the end of it. So they end up with this website with, I guess it has 6 or 7 pages total. They end up beautiful because not only are they just putting in the content, they're putting images and backgrounds, and it really, really turns out beautiful. If you happen to be teaching in a face-to-face class, you have a choice of doing the website, having them do the website, having them do some kind of scrapbook kind of thing that would still have the pieces that are like these for the online class, or you can have them write a paper and they would write about the different ideas instead of putting in images and videos and that sort of thing like they'll do on the website. So that's how that works. So now I'm going to quickly look at the syllabus. And the syllabus stays the same for the online class and for the face-to-face. The part I want to take you to is this candidate learning outcomes. What we've done is we went through and got the CLOs for this class. They're down here on the side. We coordinated those to a project. When it says Philosophy of Education project, that is either the website, the scrapbook, or the paper. They're also going to take a signature assessment at the end of this class. But the topics, the content that you have to cover are these philosophies throughout the course. Now, I didn't tell you where each one of these lie as we go along, but that will be in the module. When you open the online module, that'll be in the module. If you're doing a face-to-face class, you can put these throughout the course, based on what they have written in those free writes. We had to do the terms metaphysics, epistemology, axiology. That is the reality, knowledge, and values. And then what's logic. We have to do a personal who am I as an educator, and that's where these different, personal connection to the philosophies. That's where these